Now, I'm trying a new thing. A big new thing. But I'm just going to make this to get it out. And so you read the title of this video. I'm rewriting the live-action Transformer films. And just recently, the trailer for Transformers Rise of the Beasts came out. I was excited for the trailer, and the trailer gave me hope. But it began to give me questions. What if the Michael Bay films of Transformers was rewritten? So that's what this video is about. Also, a disclaimer, I'm still in my beginning stage of writing, so the story might not entirely make sense, but it could make some type of sense. Okay, I'll just get this started. The live-action Transformers films are bad for many, and I mean many reasons. But I think where the problem started showing was after Transformers 2007. Now, I think this movie was a great start for the franchise. It was a great start, but after it just went downhill after it. Transformers 2: Revenge of the Fallen. I will say I sort of liked it, but mostly for the action scenes. On IMDb, its rating is 5.9 out of 10. Says a lot of how bad it is. So the reviews from how it started ranged from 6 out of 10 to 10 out of 10. The ones that gave 10 out of 10, I won't say they are wrong to give it the movie a 10 out of 10, but I will say they are wrong. I think I'm lingering on this way too much. I'll just give my opinion of the movies. 1 is good, great for starting a franchise. 2 needs to be tweaked a lot. It has its problems, and one of those is killing Optimus. But I like the action. 3 is alright, should not have booted making thoughts from the movie, but the movie sort of gets better to the end, but the ending still has problems. 4 needs to be fixed. Too much in it. Trying too many things. Megatron's return too early. Also, product placement, yeah, and they did Grimlock dirty. Yes, Grimlock isn't bright in the G1 show, but he wasn't dumb. He just wasn't bright. 5 needs to stop. Too much in it.
This needs to stop. Now!
Trying way too many things in little time. And I mean little time. The pacing is just everywhere. I sort of like the idea, but it's the worst out of all 5 of the movies. And that's saying something. Now, how, may you ask, do I plan to rewrite the live-action movies? Well, my dear viewers, I had already begun. Last year, I had started writing a remake of sort of the movies. I'm on the 4th one right now, but I haven't started on the 5th one. But I think I won't be for a long while. And the idea for writing this video came at the beginning of December. So, my idea, I'm thinking of it right now while I'm making the script. That's fun, no pressure at all. But I'll quickly get the idea how this could go. The franchise could start off the war just being the war. The first 3 movies could just be the war getting worse. Then the last 3 movies could be involving Unicron. I'm saying 6 movies because with the books I talked about was because I was struggling on the 4th book. Still am. I plan to split it into 2 books because I want the books to be 5 books, not 6. But with what I'm doing here, 6 movies are going to have to work. But the gist of the franchise is slowly getting out of the war for the actual threat, Unicron. Let's start talking about what the movies will be. Transformers 1. The first movie, based on the 2007 movie, would be the Autobots and the Decepticons' war arrives on Earth. it would be almost exactly like it was. But I would start off with the war being shown. A couple of Autobots, most likely to be Bumblebee and Cliffjumper, drive away as Decepticons chase them. Then they would get to Iacon and get with the rest ready for the launch of the Ark. The battle would be taken to the skies. The Nemesis, commanded by Megatron, would attack the Ark, and both would be taken into the portal. The portal would put them near Earth's atmosphere, then that would lead to both ships crashing on Earth. The Ark crashing into a volcano, while the Nemesis crashing into the Gulf of Mexico. And so it makes sense, this is before civilization started. Time grew around both the ships. Then the main character would be shown. He would get a decent amount of screen time before something happens and he meets the Autobots or the Decepticons. He goes with the Autobots. The main thing for this movie, it would be that the Decepticons want a way to travel from Cybertron to Earth, get the forces and supplies left there to Earth. The movie would most likely end with the Autobots winning the battle in a city and the Decepticons retreating back to their base at the Gulf of Mexico. Then a final scene would set up for the next movie. Transformers 2. It's combiner time, people. The combiners of the Bay films were very underused. I mean, name all the combiners in the Bay films. Just try. If you can only come up with 2 combiners, good job. Because that's the number of combiners that exist and then die in the Bay films. And I know it's hard to have the combiners in movies because they would cost a lot of CGI and a lot of money, which is why I say, don't worry about the money. As long as their story is great and you know for sure that you will get the money back or even more, then don't worry. The main gist of this movie would be Shockwave's return. The beginning of the movie would be like the Revenge of the Fallen. A chase scene, but no killing someone yet. I would give the Transformers more screen time than the humans, but not to the point that they are overshadowed. The next scene after the chase would be a scene showing the humans finding it a bit hard to explain to the public about the Autobots causing havoc, fighting the Decepticons. After this scene would be showing the Decepticons scheming, also showing that Megatron is starting to have enough of Starscream. But the rest of the movie would be showing battles between the Autobots and the Decepticons, the enigma of combinations is found, and the Constructicons arrive. This will lead to a final battle, and the Decepticons will win, leaving the Autobots retreating and the Decepticons going back to their base. But this will leave the mistake of the Autobots finding their base at the Gulf of Mexico. Hey, cliffhanger, Transformers 3. I know it feels like I'm rushing this a bit, which is why with this one, I will slow down a bit. But the gist of the beginning is showing the Autobots attacking the Decepticons' base. Optimus will have led the attack into the water, while the aerial bots and some of the other flying Autobots could distract the Decepticons above the water. The Autobots would breach the Decepticons' base and chase them to Florida's land. The battle from Florida's beach and across it went to the highway that led to the nearest city, Florida City, and traveled into Homestead. This will end the first act. In the second act, Shockwave will successfully finish his project of Trypticon. And Florida City and Homestead will be destruction center for all of it. This will eventually lead to the beginning of Act 3, with Metroplex arriving and the battle being balanced. But sadly, Florida City and Homestead will be destroyed, and the battle will go back to the beaches and head toward Key Largo. The battle will end with the Decepticons' victory and their retreat across the waters to the Bahamas. The gist of this is Earth being a playground for the Titans in this movie. Between the battles, the main character could be going to a wedding, deal with the police, help out find out why the Decepticons keep getting resources so easily, etc. I'm taking all of that from the Transformers Dark of the Moon movie, but I can't get copyrighted because I'm doing my own thing. Hopefully, yes, I am. Why am I keep on doing this? I'll just skip to Transformers 4. Transformers 4. This film will be the beginning of the war's end. The Autobots chase the Decepticons from the Dominican Republic to... Oh god, I'm gonna butcher this. Puerto Rico? Tell me in the comments on whether or not I butchered it. Jazz, Ironhide, RC, Brawn, Springer, and Sideswipe continue the chase while the rest either are at the Ark, at the naval base in Chicago, in Autobot City, or are setting a trap on a couple of the British Virgin Islands for the cons. In between the fight scenes, the humans could be talking either to one of the Autobots or to Optimus himself about the damage that was being caused by the chase. And some of the main character's story could be sprinkled in between fight scenes as well. And in the second act, Optimus helps his comrades with the chase, but finds out, oh my god, Autobot City and the Ark is being attacked! Shocking! The third act may go on for a long while, which means the second act, it might change a bit in time, but who knows. It plays out basically the same as the Transformers 1986 movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's a great movie. It's on YouTube. Search it up. It's free. You don't have to pay for anything. It's a great movie. Watch it. I loved it. Even though I did not finish all. The Autobot City being attacked, part of it. Once Optimus arrives at Autobot City, seeing the destruction, he has the Autobots that were in the ship with him recover any Autobot that was in the city. And then the iconic as hell scene from the movie happens. You know what I'm talking about. The scene will do a lot. Show Optimus just heavily entering the Decepticons, and Optimus and Megatron fight. Then after the fight, and the Decepticons retreating to Canada during the battle, Trypticon had crashed into Canada, Alberta, with the Decepticons leaving for Canada, except the ones that escaped into Astro Train. Optimus dies in front of his Autobots on the way to Cybertron. On the way to Cybertron, the Decepticons get in contact with the Decepticons in Canada. But what happened in the 1986 movie happens in this as well. The weak are thrown out, and Megatron and some of the Decepticons that were thrown out with him get reformed by Unicron. They would be set to retrieve the Matrix of Leadership and destroy it. The now Galvatron heads to Cybertron to take revenge on Starscream in the next movie. Stay tuned, folks. It's coming. Transformers 5. Oh, we're almost there. Okay, just keep on going, John. Almost there.
We're nearly done.
Some time would have passed, and Starscream is having his coronation. Galvatron will arrive and kill Starscream, taking control of the Decepticons' forces on Cybertron, like the 1986 movie did. The next scene will be the Autobots heading to Trypticon's crash site in Canada, Alberta. They tracked Trypticon's crash site to an abandoned town called Bellaway. On their way to the crash site, they run into Decepticon combiners and Scorponok. Sideswipe leads the final attack on Trypticon's crash site. The Decepticons hold their own before Galvatron and his forces arrive. Galvatron tries to retrieve the Matrix of Leadership from Sideswipe, but Scorponok loses to Metroplex, and Omega Supreme activates a space surge, and it became unstable quickly because of no source. Everything after the first half of the second act will be Autobots and Decepticons going around the galaxy, either trying to kill each other or working together. The final act will be Autobots heading to Cybertron with some Decepticons, and Galvatron nearly killing Sideswipe, and tells him of being Unicron's pawn and will use the Matrix of Leadership to destroy his master. He leaves for Unicron. Oh, I had forgotten to mention, but between the fight scenes, Unicron eats planets, and that will be building up the suspense of his power. Just wondering, what is he gonna do? Will he destroy Cybertron? Will he come for Earth? Why is he now just arriving? That's all, folks. That's another cliffhanger. You guys hate cliffhangers? Too bad. The next one, ooh, Transformers 6. Ooh, can't wait. Transformers 6. Sideswipe, after some time meeting Redgar and the Junkions on the garbage planet and getting himself repaired, he regroups with the rest of the Autobots and a couple of Decepticons. Skids, Hot Rod, Bumblebee, and Cup try to find Galvatron from the way he went, but they find themselves captured by the Quintessons. Sideswipe takes his forces and head to Cybertron to warn the Decepticons of Unicron's possible attack on Cybertron. Ending the first act, Galvatron arrives to Unicron and threatens him with the Matrix of Leadership. This doesn't go as planned, and since the Matrix didn't open, Unicron speaks, "Finally, I have a way in." With his words, Unicron transforms and punches a barrier. The barrier shatters, and Unicron flies past the destroyed barrier. "My revenge can now begin, brother, for I will use your greatest creation against you." Galvatron yells in fear of Cybertron's destruction and tries to stop Unicron and shoots at him. But Unicron grabs him and puts him in his mouth and heads to Cybertron. The second act would be the Autobots trying to warn the Decepticons, but a battle between the Titans and the Combiners ensues. The Junkions went to save Skids, Hot Rod, Bumblebee, and Cup from the Quintessons with the Dinobots. The team is rescued and head to Cybertron. In the meantime, Sideswipe is able to have a standstill. He tells of Unicron's coming and convinces enough of the Decepticons to prepare for Unicron. And once Unicron arrives to Cybertron, Sideswipe's plan against Unicron begins, and all Autobots and Decepticons attack Unicron for their home. Unicron fights the Autobots and Decepticons and is winning. Then, the ship that held Skids, Hot Rod, Bumblebee, Cup, and the Junkions arrived. The Junkions and Redgar left the ship and went to help take down Unicron. Sideswipe will use the ship he's in to follow right behind the junk ship that drills right into Unicron's left eye. Both ships go into Unicron's head. Unicron reacts in pain as the Autobots go deep inside of his body. They fight through defenses in his body, but seeing Unicron in pain gives the Autobots and Decepticons hope. Hope that the battle can be won. Sideswipe gets closer to Unicron's brain, while the rest save any Autobot or Decepticon that could have died from Unicron's grasp inside of him. Sideswipe runs into Galvatron and he recommends an alliance to stop Unicron. After a bit of an alliance, Unicron tries to use Galvatron to destroy Sideswipe. Galvatron nearly tears Sideswipe apart, but Hot Rod, Bumblebee, and Skids arrive to fight Galvatron. All three of them nearly defeat Galvatron in Optimus' resurrected body as Nemesis Prime arrives and turns the tide of the fight drastically. But both Galvatron and Nemesis Prime were too strong for the trio. Being the leaders of the main two factions, of course, the fight wasn't going to be in the Autobots' favor. But Bumblebee is able to break the control on Optimus for a bit of time, and he punches Galvatron, weakening him. Before he turns back to Nemesis and fights Bumblebee, Skids, and Hot Rod, Sideswipe fights Galvatron and is put in a chokehold. Galvatron's final words: "First Prime, next I take you down so easily. I didn't finish you off before, but now I will. It's funny how you Autobots die so easily." Just like the final battle in the 1986 movie, Sideswipe grabs the Matrix and gains back what he lost. Galvatron is able to get Sideswipe to drop the Matrix, but his newfound power doesn't leave him. "This is the end of the road for you and your master, Galvatron." Sideswipe uses his knowledge of fighting Galvatron before and gains the upper hand and throws him through the body of Unicron out into space. Sideswipe opens the Matrix with his words, and the defeat of Unicron was unavoidable. Now let the Matrix light our darkest hour. The Matrix activates, and the light blue sphere crystal in the middle shoots out lights, and one hits his spark. It starts blowing up, and outside, Unicron is afraid. Lights of blue pierce out his body, and he tries to block the first hole, and the next one appears. He tries to block it, while Autobots and Decepticons outside backed up or went back down to Cybertron. It starts to become too much as more blue lights shoot out of his body, and then he grabs his left leg and tears it off. The Autobots meet up with Sideswipe and drive out of Unicron from his right eye. A blue light shoots out of his right eye. His final words are spoken. I cannot be destroyed! My revenge! Brother! Unicron, in desperation, puts his hands on his head and tries to pull his head up. Before it's all over, Unicron's head is torn off his body, while his body begins its destruction. The Autobots and the Decepticons watch Unicron's body blow up with little of any pieces left. In the end of this, Sideswipe leads the surviving Autobots and the Decepticons as one alliance. No Decepticons or Autobots, with their insignias held up high. There is now only the race of Transformers. And that's the end of this series. Now, time to go to the conclusion. Okay, come on, John. Come on, John. You're almost there. Come on, you're almost there. The conclusion. So that's how it is. Now, it may be good, it may be bad, but all I know is I spent hours writing this. I know it may seem like little time to you guys, but I wrote a lot. I thought a lot, but I'm glad I did this. God, what am I doing with my life? I actually wanted to make this video a long time ago, but I never could get it made. The script was no problem. There was no problem there. It was just everything else. Something I found hard while reading the script right now was my speed talking, which I'm doing right now. I'll try and slow down. I talk fast, and so I had to slow down while making this video. And from what I can guess, me talking fast is like someone with a gun pointed at my head forced me to talk fast. Fun times! But I'll just end this video here. Like and subscribe, tell more people about my channel. It'll help my first goal to 1,000 subscribers happen. Now, ta-ta! Wait a second. I can make my own podcast? What the fuck?